us. Our first presenter for today is Nina Kaiko. Nina is the Associate Professor in Digital Geospatial Research at the Department of Geography and Geology at University of Turku. And she is also one of the Secretariat sort of co-lead for the Resilience Academy out of University of Turku. So Nina is going to tell us a little bit today about what the Resilience Academy is, explain it to us. So welcome, Nina.
Thank you, Alexa, and hello, everybody. Welcome to join this session of Resilience Academy, which is a novel approach to build digital skills for improved management of challenges such as urbanization and climate change. Like Alexa introduced me, I'm Nina, and I'm from the University of Turku from Southwest Finland. And our university has been partnered with Tanzanian universities for many years to build geospatial and ICT skills and competencies towards benefit of the society. What we are talking about today is Resilience Academy as a new solution to train young people with innovative tools, data, knowledge, and skills that are able to address urbanization challenges that we are confronting in large parts of the world at the moment. The knowledge transformation that Resilience Academy aims to achieve is such that we would give and enhance the local communities, local actors to be in the key role of providing sustainable, inclusive, and participatory solution for urbanization. The solution space and the key strategy of the Resilience Academy is to build the solutions on open data, open digital data, affordable and light technologies and tools, and inclusive participation of the local communities. In Resilience Academy, our key actors are the students of the local universities who then together with the local communities and different volunteers and actors are building these solutions that can then work in practice and actually increase our resilience in front of these urbanization challenges. In the larger sense, the strategy aims to achieve improved employment and innovation capacities throughout the world. Tanzania Resilience Academy, which I'm now explicitly speaking about, is led by 4 local universities. We have Ardi University and University of Dar es Salaam, both located in the largest 6 million inhabitant city in Tanzania. Then we have Sokoine University of Agriculture from Morogoro and State University of Zanzibar from Zanzibar Islands. Together, these 4 universities in partnership with University of Turku steer the Resilience Academy as an activity in Tanzania. We are partnered with several international actors, and University of Twente and Delft University of Technology are with us from the Netherlands. Our current funding comes from the World Bank, together with the funding also from the Ministry for Foreign Affairs of Finland, what comes to the institutional capacity building. So what are the services that Resilience Academy aims to build in these local universities? One of the key issues is to increase open access to digital data. Resilience Academy is maintaining climate risk database, which is a repository of risk data that is openly accessible to anyone. Currently, the database contains around 80 data layers from the city of Dar es Salaam and Zanzibar, but it'll be then populated with data coming from other cities as well. The datasets allow the students to learn digital skills, and they allow practitioners to build their informed decisions on real up-to-date geospatial data. These datasets play a crucial role when we build the skills of the students in the universities, and one of the key elements of Resilience Academy is to create e-learning materials and opportunities for anyone to learn the skills. These e-learning materials are accessible not only to the students of the universities, but they are openly accessible to anyone to use. And the idea is that the e-learning materials cover some of the key elements of of resilience and urban disaster risk management. We are currently having modules related to data quality issues, data visualization issues, as well as earth observation, flood management, and so forth. One of the most impressive elements of Resilience Academy's service portfolio are the mass internship programs, which are run every year in each of the university. What these internship programs basically do is that they take the university students in large numbers to the clients who are then employing the students to learn these digital skills in practice. The students from the universities learn how to collect data based on devices where they can basically map and monitor changes in the urban environment. And they then, little by little, narrow the gap of data, which has been the case in many rapidly developing cities. This year, we had 200 students in the field, and altogether, there have been over 1,000 students employed via these internship programs. The fourth component, which is the most latest component of the Resilience Academy, is research and innovation, where we aim to engage students and staff to novel methodological and applied research topics that broadly around the rapid urbanization issues. And we are currently engaging around 10 to 15 master's students who are starting their research cases. Some of them are dealing with data and technology topics, and some are more applied and more societally oriented. All these four services together form the core of the Resilience Academy service infrastructure, but we have already piloted another additional component, which is the micro-tasking. Some months ago, we had 120 students from these universities who then were employed to collect digital data completely online with their mobile phones. And they were able to verify large number of building data sets that were part of one big global data set that was under preparation. And this was an example of a service infrastructure where the students who already have the basic skills via our internship programs are then able to apply their skills in more, let's say, more in work environment and more demand-oriented cases. I will now play a short summary video of Resilience Academy. I hope you enjoyed this brief introduction to Resilience Academy, and I will now let the other presenters to tell a bit more details of our work. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Nina. That was really great to see an overview of the Resilience Academy. I see that Venla has pointed out in the chat that everybody in the audience, you are so welcome to drop your questions in the chat. And we've got Resilience Academy staff standing by to answer them, as well as collect them for our discussion at the end of the presentation, or the set of presentations. We're now going to welcome Dr. Mercy Mbise. Dr. Mercy Mbise is with the University of Dar es Salaam. Dr. Mbise, would you switch your video on and come online? and turn your microphone on. Dr. Mbise is at UDSM, University of Dar es Salaam in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. She's the senior lecturer and head of department for the Computer Science and Engineering Department at the College of Information and Communication Technologies, which is known as COICT here in Dar in Tanzania. And Dr. Mercy is one of the Resilience Academy coordinators that helps make the Resilience Academy possible and implements it in Tanzania. So all of the exciting stuff you saw happening in that video, it wouldn't happen without colleagues like Mercy. So Mercy Caribou, welcome to share your screen and come online.
Very much. Okay, thank you very much. I think I'll just use the audio because if I use the audio, the video, then we probably won't hear anything.
No problem.
So,
would you share your screen
okay?
so we can see your presentation? Yes, that's fine.
Yeah.
So,
Can you all see it?
Yes, thank you. You can make it just a little bit bigger, and that is perfect. Thank you.
Is that okay?
Yes, that's fine. Now we can
Okay.
see it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I think hopefully we'll go smooth without internet issues. But I'll greet you again. Good day from the University of Dar es Salaam. I'm Mercy Mbise, as introduced, and I'm a lecturer in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering. I'm also the head of department and also a Resilience Academy coordinator for University of Dar es Salaam. So on behalf of my fellow Resilience Academy coordinators in Tanzania and also the UTU team, I'd like to present the Resilience Academy initiative, its main components and how it's been conducted so far in our universities. Okay, so basically Resilience Academy aims at developing skills for young students. And these skills are used for collecting data and using the data for informed decision making. A little bit about the origin of Resilience Academy. The Resilience Academy goes back to the concept of reality that many cities, including African cities, are growing extremely fast. And as a result, they are prone to flooding, where the urban cities, if they're not planned properly, then they are prone to flooding. So the Resilience Academy basically started as a concept to build the capacity and long-term sustainability for new tools and methods in urban development and climate risk management in African cities. So it's a short origin of Resilience Academy. Basically, we need to make our cities resilient to the current change in climate issues. So the focus of Resilience Academy is first to train young people or young graduates with tools, with knowledge, with skills to address the current urban challenges and also to discover solutions for resilient urban development. But also, Resilience Academy focuses on using open, affordable, and locally adaptable tools and technologies with participatory mapping approaches so that learning can be widely accessible. And thirdly, the focus is to expose these students to geospatial data skills and project management skills and also research skills so that they can map the unmapped areas and make community assets visible. So we focus on education with impact, whereby innovation happens at the interface between technology's potential and society's emerging needs. To start with the digital skills and services of Resilience Academy, we have online open access learning materials and courses. We have a student internship and industrial training services. We have climate risk database with open access risk information. And also, as Nina presented before, we also have research, innovation, and partnerships. To start with e-learning materials development, we basically develop short courses or short modules that can be used by the teaching staff and also students to complement what is already in the curricula so that students can enhance their skills. We have online e-learning materials which are related to open data for resilience, materials related to flood resilience in a changing climate, community mapping for improved spatial planning, and also Earth observation for resilience. A typical example is Module 2, which is geospatial data quality and management, whereby students learn geospatial data quality management, visualization, and data sharing skills, and stimulate informed decisions for resilience society. And this module is quite good because some of our students also gained skills and they entered in a called visualization challenge, or we call it Resilience Academy Data Visualization Challenge. It started, I think, last year, and then it also happened in this year, 2020, just towards the end of last month. We had a number of students who applied or submitted their visualizations for judgment, 171 basically students. And the event was conducted online due to the current situation on the 27th of November. We have several challenges, and then they were filtered up to the last session where we selected a winner. We had different judges from different parts of this Resilience Academy community and also our other partners. Another aspect of the Resilience Academy is student internships and industrial training as digital services. Basically, students, after finishing the first and second year, they undertake industrial training. And in the Resilience Academy, students are trained and they also participate in mapping activities, and they apply these skills in community mapping and basically mapping the unmapped places in urban areas. And this particular aspect or activity exposes students to digital geospatial skills to map the unmapped areas and make community assets visible. And students, when they collected the data is stored in the climate risk database, or the GeoNote, and they collect various data like flood-prone areas, drainage systems, and so on. And this data basically is openly accessible for use, for research, and also for informed decision making. Students basically learn a lot of skills during this period. Usually it is 8 weeks, but this year it was shortened to 6 weeks due to COVID and a shortage of semester weeks. So they learned a number of skills and knowledge like GIS training, community engagements, and many, many more. And they use these skills in their mapping activities. A typical example is the industrial training that was conducted last year in the University of Zanzibar internship program, where over 100 students did this program in 8 weeks, and they mapped 42 shares, and they interacted with over 300 community members and mapped various places like amenities, roads, buildings, businesses, and tourist features as shown in those maps. The climate risk database, or GeoNode itself, is also developed by experts and also some students and also some staff or Resilience Academy members. And this basically is a repository of digital data sets, which is a prerequisite for understanding risks and developing evidence-based solutions for resilient urban development. So the database is open and is accessible. And our students collect data and add the data, of course, after data being cleaned and put in the database. So this is the digital geospatial repository, which supports research and education and disaster risk management practices. It can be accessed on that link. And for developers, they can also access it on that link. And this database is based on open source technology. So it is not proprietary, it's open source. So far, we have about over 70 digital data sets, which are openly accessible. We have over 250 students who have been trained with data management skills in the industrial training of 2019 and also 2020. And we have over 20 university experts who are trained with data manager skills. And this was done in 2020. If you want to join the development community, you're welcome, and you can join it over that link shown there. You can join as a back-end or front-end developer. You can join as a geospatial data manager or as a normal data user. Research part of the Resilience Academy, as Nina explained, is just started recently. We basically engaged master's students to conduct research in geospatial data. And we have identified a number of cases with students who are doing their research at various stages of their master's program. So this is just like a layout or a route of how demand-driven research and innovation is conducted. You have research and development, you have piloting, and then you have various actors. We have different outputs like local knowledge, you have local skills, you have local jobs and services, and you have climate resilience. And we also have this type of research program, basically MSc and PhD students who use various tools like drones, IoTs, microtasking, and other various machine learning tools as well to conduct the research. Basically, these support the sustainable goals 11 and also number 8, which is decent work and economic growth, and also sustainable cities and communities. So basically, students use data to conduct research around these goals. Other MSc research projects also include river flood rating cameras. These are just topic areas where students can conduct their research, rainwater harvesting benefits, rainfall prediction, and so on. And there are many more: automated green urban cover maps, solid waste, GIS optimization planner, 3D Zanzibar maps, and so on. So that marks the end of this short presentation. And asanteni sana, we believe that resilient urban solutions begin with education. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Messi. That was really interesting. And there's just so much Resilience Academy is doing that the universities are leading on, and being the heart, really the heart of Resilience Academy is the university. So thank you so much for presenting that on behalf of all of the Resilience Academy partners. I'm now going to ask Stephen Kutuku to join us. Thank you, Messi. Stephen, welcome. Stephen is a student, and he was attending the Sokoine University of Agriculture in Morogoro, and he has been a champion person taking part in the Resilience Academy. He has been a student that did the internship placement. He's taken part in the data visualization. He's done the microtasking. So I think he might have even done parts on research. So really, Stephen has been super engaged and involved, and he wanted to come and tell us all today what it's been like to be a student, to get those skills, and what how was the experience. So Stephen, welcome. Put your mic on, put your video on, and come join us. Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Stephen Kutuku. I'm a graduate from Sokoine University of Agriculture. pursued a bachelor degree of science in environmental science and management. I'm here today in front of you to share my experience because I was one among the students who participated in all the 3 Resilience Academy programs. So I can say Resilience Academy is my home. Next. Next again. Yeah, so by status industrial training, it was a part of field practical training conducted at Sokoine University of Agriculture. So in this year, 2020, it was under the auspice of Resilience Academy with collaboration with Open Map Development of Tanzania. So thanks to my sister, Ima Mwanja, Dr. Ernest, and Brother Ben for being with us together during this training. So we gain a lot of skills, like first one is tree mapping using mobile tools or mobile phone. We collected the different data from trees like tree height, diameter, determine tree species, and a lot of data by using applications such as ODK, PlantNet 2.8. Yeah, also we performed the canopy mapping, which is a program of World Bank conducted at Sierra Leone to determine the area which are covered by trees. It was performed also online. Also, we get exposed to a lot in geospatial skills because we performed a lot of practical sessions, assignments by using a DigiCampus platform. Also, there was a lot of practical sessions because the field was not about online, but we performed it physically on field. So we used to work in various areas to capture the different data of trees, as I explained above. Also, the good experience as a graduate, I get exposed to my fellow students to work together with them. We shared a lot, like exchange ideas and to do several activities together. Next. Another program I participated in microwork. This was a period of COVID-19, so we used to do it at home or the period after classes. The program was conducted through a mobile phone where we used to verify different data such as the flow of different buildings in our country and outside the country. Also, it was like the online digital mapping. So we gained a lot of I can say a lot of experience in this because it was like a temporary job for us. The team paid us a lot, so we gained also a lot amount of money, which helped us to run our life in university. So it was the best experience ever because it was like a temporary job for us as a student. Next slide. The third was I participated in Resilience Academy Visualization Challenge in 2019 and 2020. So through this, I learned a lot. I get exposed to different visualization tools. Apart from that, I learned from school like ArcGIS, GeoNode, and also we get access to climate risk database where we exploit the different types of data so as to be integrated into create a visualization. So our first visualization was in 2019 where we participated, and our challenge was about solid waste management at Kinondoni Municipal, where we failed to win because our visualization was poor. So after I failed to win, but it was like the exposure because through that we get a call to be participating in microwork. So it was like a link, or we can call it maybe a connection. So we also participated in 2020, where our visualization challenge was about urban traffic congestion in Dar es Salaam. And on 20th of November, we were selected as the third winner because we improved a lot and it was the best visualization I ever did. So through that, I met a student from different universities like UDSM, Aldi and Susa, where we shared a lot of experience and we shared the contacts so it to be like a connection in the future. Also, the experience was about to work with the real problem facing Dar es Salaam and Tanzania in general, like traffic congestion, the problem of solid waste, and also the problem of flood. Next slide. Also, my opinion, as a student who participated in all the 3 programs, I have a new skills, especially geospatial skills. I gained a lot by performing those practicals in the session in the campus. Also experienced to work in really problems like floods, like the problem of solid waste, urban traffic congestion, and also to collect those data of trees. It's a good experience. Also opportunity to work and get paid was by micro as I explained later, our area. Opportunity to speak here today, yeah, it's a lot of experience because I speak here today as one of the students who participated in all 3 programs. So, as a young emerging environmentalist, caring about environment is my first concern. So, with a lot of geospatial skills that I have or I gained through Resilience Academy, I'm here and I'm available to work with any other organization or stakeholder who will be interested to work with me, also in my fellow student. So I would like to say thank you. My contact are there. Asanteni sana.
Thank you so much, Stephen. That is so good to hear that you enjoyed the Resilience Academy program and took so much away from it. I'm so excited to have some questions for Stephen later in the discussion portion of this program. So do please remember to put your questions in the chat and keep them there. We are now going to welcome Innocent Maholi. Innocent is the lead for the Open Maps Development Tanzania. And him and many of his colleagues actually came out of the Resilience Academy program. They took part in the program and then saw an opportunity to set up Open Maps Development Tanzania with the support of humanitarian OpenStreetMaps. And they now sell services back to the World Bank and back to the Resilience Academy, facilitating a student's industrial placement, as well as many, many other things. So I feel like they're a real success story from this program, really showing that there is a demand for these services, and it can make a big difference in people's lives when we make these trainings and available. So Innocent, welcome. Put your video on and share your screen. We're excited to have you and to hear Open Maps experience of Resilience Academy and how you collaborate.
Right. Thank you, Alexa. Yeah. I hope you can all see my screen.
Yes, thank you. We can see it well, Innocent.
All right, thank you. And thank you, Alexa, for the introduction. So I just introduce myself. As Alexa said, my name is Innocent Maholi. I am the Executive Director for Open Map Development Tanzania. And here today I'll be talking about skills development for young and university students. And I'll give a little bit of background of where we come from and the plans for where we want to go. And before I even do that, I wanted to introduce OMDTZ and what we do. So we are a local registered NGO that is based in Mikocheni, and we are legally, operating across the country. With the organization, we are doing lots of promotion in terms of community mapping projects, and I'll talk more about the projects in the next slides. But one of the other things that we do is we generate map awareness, mapping awareness actually, with the students that we are working with through different programs, and also the community members and other stakeholders from the government and private and public sectors. On top of that, we are creating for open data sets. So most of the information we collect from the projects and from our internal initiatives are, open data sets that goes to OpenStreetMap or GeoNode from the Resilience Academy and other sources. And also we pledge for open source technology, which means most of the technology that we are using is first open applications and also open knowledge, as we want to transfer the knowledge that we have to other people that can make use out of them. The other thing is we also we continue to build a network of mappers across the country and in leveraging their skills from whatever they're doing to making sure that they can incorporate the maps and mapping technology in whatever they're doing. If it's IT, for example, if it's geographers or maybe environmentalists. And to give you a little bit of overview on what we do, like I said before, so we do lots of data collection through an approach called community mapping, where we involve community members, we train them and we involve them to harness the local knowledge they have and work with them to collect the data and produce the maps. And end of the day, the maps are, we give back to the community the maps so that they can be able to make use out of the maps. The second pillar is training and capacity building, where we are training university students, we are training community members, we are training stakeholders, government agencies like TAMISEMI, for example, Tarura, so that they can be up to speed with technology, actual mapping technology, GIS, for example, with mapping applications like Open Data Kit and stuff like that. And you've heard from Stephen himself from the training that he had received this year, and many more students that we have received this kind of training. The last bit of it is innovation, GIS and open source technology. So with innovation, we are trying to create solutions that could be cheap, but also could be able to provide highly accurate data. Because one of the best things that we care about is accuracy of the data and quality of the data as well. So we are kind of approaching that side, and I'll talk more about that in the next slides about the stuff that we're doing in innovation and GIS, which involve analysis and visualization. Right. So to give you a background of OMBTC, like what Stephen was saying in the previous presentation, I think the role of the industrial training to us has been, it has always imparted skills to, the youth from the universities and from the communities to be able to see problems and find ways to resolve them. To resolve them. And with this, we mean, through the training that we received from during the Ramani Huria era back in 2015 under the humanitarian OpenStreetMap team, we were able to get introduced to the mapping. And being fresh students from universities, of which we were all taking urban and regional planning, we got a time to get introduced to mapping technology. And you can see from the upper left picture where you see this is where the team was receiving the training, just getting introduced to OpenStreetMap, ODK, Open Data Kit, to QGIS and other tools that are open. And from the upper right picture, you can see one of our managers here called Dorica was, communicating with the community members. Just we got a chance to get trained and be able to have that kind of leadership skills that would help us, interact with community members, raise their issues and be able to, work together with them. And from the down, bottom left, you can see one of our supervisors called Wanswa, who is now the lecturer at our university, was out, working with the community members so that we could all get, well-trained practically and theoretically, and then bringing that product out of, out of the information that community members have. And from the right, bottom right picture, you could see this is where we are giving back to the community. So these are the maps that we created to raise the issues that came out of the the mapping. So the good thing about the industrial training for us was it built skills for us technologically, but also leadership-wise. We were able to easily interact with the community and be able to raise issues that affect them and be able to provide solutions through the mapping that we usually did. In the next slide, I wanted to talk about how we got registered. So right after 2 years of training under the humanitarian OpenStreetMap team and all the success that Ramani Huria had, so which is like Ramani Huria is the World Bank funded project that started in 2015 and initiated these kind of trainings. We were able to register our own organization in late 2017. So we are a very young NGO that is only 3 years old. And with that, we have a team of around 40 people that are doing different stuff that I'll talk about in the next slides. But we are all youth, as you can see from the picture here, and which also involves gender balance in the team as well, age as well, and stuff like that. And with this kind of experience, we were able to work with different partners and funders. So here I wanted to talk about the kind of different work that we have done with different clients. And these ranges from local to international NGOs and companies, private and public companies as well. And you can see from the pictures here, organizations like I4D, for example, which is under the Palladium Group, we were able to work with them under the solid waste management project that involved the Ilala municipality and the Kinondoni municipality to just improve solid waste management in the city. And the idea was for us to do that and be able to replicate that to other cities as well. And this is where also some of the organizations like Green Waste Pro and IPE5 were also connected to that kind of initiative. And one of the other things that we've done is through HDIF, the Human Development Innovation Fund. And within this, it's a project that we are still doing it, and we are supposed to map innovators across the country and create a platform that will be helpful for innovators and funders and donors to be able to interact among themselves. It should be very easy for, let's say, for a funder to just go and look at a point of interest, let's say people that are doing work in the education sector, and then be able to work together and providing that kind of linkages between innovators and funders and in that as well. Apart from that, I think I've talked about Brahmani Korea, which is, like I said, the World Bank funded group, and so we have worked with the World Bank through Brahmani Korea and other projects that are more into community mapping and remote mapping and a little bit of AI as well. And apart from that, just to touch base on GIZ and UNDP, so we also wanted to expand, the kind of activity that we were doing. And with GIZ, we were mapping for water supply in Arusha. We were supposed to provide analysis of how how water is distributed among farmers, and making sure that at least we know that water is scarce, and making sure that at least water goes to all the farmers, with the advantage of people that are living up hills, to the disadvantage of people that are living down hills. So this was just to show you the kind of work that we've done. But like I said, all this is possible because of the introduction we've had during the industrial training for Man Korea project and Resilience Academy. So one of the things that we are doing at the moment is we are giving it back to the society, which is our society is more like university students, the people that we train. And with this, we wanted to build capacity to students and be able to make them have leadership skills, improve their knowledge in GIS, in mapping, and in other tools. And with this, you can see from the upper left picture, this is where we were training Quality students, students that were were interested in building drones, flying drones and stuff like that. And here you can see our staff Bonlove, who is the champion. He used to be one of the students, but he has developed and improved quite a lot in drone mapping and building as well. He was able to provide skills and these skills to students and be able to make them aware of the technology and be able to build their own drones. You can see from the upper right picture. This is where we interact with community members, and it looks like easy task because you just speak to some old guy in Kiswahili, but somehow this needs some sort of skills in terms of how to approach them, how to raise issues from them, how do you work with them. So these are the kind of skills that we impart to students. And these students are mainly from Ag University, University of Dar es Salaam, SUA, SUSA, in IRP. where the goal is for them to be able to communicate issues with communities and use their professionals to actually bring solution on the ground. From the other pictures here, you could see students with laptops and maps. This is where students are, uploading the data to OpenStreetMap, which is a platform to store information, and also downloading the information to create maps. That kind of knowledge, which involves lots of QGIS training and practices and stuff like that. The below right picture, you see this is a high precision GPS that we just innovated. We are actually improving this. It's a tool that can be able to collect a geo point of a precision of 1 to 2 centimeters of accuracy, which is a game changing for us because one of the main issues in country is access to like people need to get their land surveyed, so access to that is a little bit of challenge, and we are trying to build the skills and build the technology so that we can be able to work with that. Apart from that, I also wanted to touch base about, like I've said, about open. Yes.
Sorry, you're out of time. Can you just give your last wrap up remarks, please?
Right. So, yeah. So, like I said before, I think the industrial training has helped us quite a lot in terms of building skills. As we were still students by then, but as for now, I think it has opened doors for us to initiate our own company or organization and then be able to carry out work and provide a professional career for ourselves. And we are trying to do this same thing in relationship to other programs like Resilience Academy, to also train students and be able to and make them successful in terms of making sure that they are confident and able to accomplish whatever they feel like. So in doing that, we are making drone pilots. We now have university lecturers in our university, USM, Alva Institute, and ILB in Manza. And with that, I think we have also developed lots of people in urban planning departments in municipalities and other government bodies. Thank you for that. Please reach out to me just in case there are any questions. You can email me or follow us on Twitter and Facebook or check our website. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Innocent. And there's a nice picture of the bamboo drone there, which is one of my favorite things to see the Resilience Academy present. And the contact details for Resilience Academy have been dropped in the chat. Please don't hesitate to contact Innocent for more information about the services they provide and to hear more about what they're doing. I now invite Sebastian Gartner to join us. Sebastian, if you turn your share screen on and your video. Sebastian is the Vice President of Programs at Greenstand. And yes, we can see. Thank you, Sebastian. Welcome. And Greenstand uses the data and works as an industrial placement provider with the Resilience Academy. So students like Stephen can map and work with data that Greenstand needs, and Greenstand provides that as an industrial placement. So I hope that's been very beneficial to you, Sebastian, and you're going to tell us a little bit about what it's like to be a commercial for-profit partner, and really being a partner with the Resilience Academy as a company, as a very important company doing very important work on in climate change. So I'll hand over to Sebastian, and we're excited to hear what Greenstand is doing.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, we are not actually a for-profit company. We're a non-profit organization. So this is Greenstand. We're really representing an open source community that is developing software, open source software that is addressing poverty and climate change. So in this capacity, we were asked to help out with the industrial placement and really enjoyed it. And I think we brought some interesting aspects to this last industrial placement, which I'm addressing at the end. But first, I'm just going through our organization a little bit, we founded in 2015. We're basically based on volunteering contributors only, and we have partner organizations in Africa, Asia, South America, and yeah, slowly pretty much all around the globe. So we have a decentralized organizational setup and are, I would say, a very flexible organization around this open source software. So the open source software space, I think, goes in hand with the Resilience Academy of open data. So all our data is also totally available. We have about 3,000 system users at the moment, and we became second in the uplink challenge of the WEF. So yeah, what is Greensand doing? We're basically tracking tree growth and packing it in a digital format. As you can see here, this is one of the maps. This is the example of some trees in Freetown, Sierra Leone. So you can really go through each individual tree capture and see the impact and the person who has been responsible for it, the date it was taken, tree ID, and then we have actually other data that we can attach to it. So this brings us to our model very roughly. So we have basically an impact capture and impact payment system. Then we have the impact monitoring and sharing. And then we have impact finance and trading. So these elements are all inbuilt in our software stack, which is comprises of a couple different software elements. So I'm not going to go through this one. I'm going to just jump this. But as you know, regeneration, reforestation usually starts at the community level. So basically, this is our kind of information around this. But in our case, we had more of an urban context and it was more about the data itself. So during the SUA placement in October, we had a field day where 20 students in this case captured around 3,000 trees, or around 3,000 captures is what we got. And what we were after in this case was really seeing how the different models phone models react on different locations, and how their GPS accuracy levels are comparable or being something that can influence the data quality. So we were looking for having the same use case. Everybody was tracking exactly the same tree, exactly the same location, and now we have basically 3,000 data points to compare and really see the different GPS performances. Once you capture the data in our system, it goes into the admin panel, which was also then utilized by the students, and the students were able to post-process those data points. This is interesting for adding species or adding additional information. This can go pretty much in any direction. You can have tags, you can assign planted team information, etc., and obviously can approve or reject a tree. And this is basically the verification process. Once verified, it lands on the map, on a web map, which is basically the impact visualization. And in this case, we see this is a single person's map. The other one we saw before was all the accumulated ones. And here we can see very well how this row of trees was captured. And maybe in this case already GPS accuracy was jumping, since I guess there was actually more of a straight line. So what did we get out of it? We have basically a lot of data like this, where we know the different phone manufacturers, models, the different Android versions out there, the name of the plant is obviously, etc., etc. So collecting a lot of valuable data that is then going into our artificial intelligence team, and in the team that kind of works on species recognition, etc. So yeah, what we've seen again from this placement is that we really have like well-organized remote field units, data curators, verifiers of environmental services, of ground truthing, basically. These are the jobs for the future, and I think preparing the students to really get exposed to a lot of different of these new upcoming technologies, and embracing also the open data, I think is a wonderful development, and we were very happy that we were able to take part in this. And just for the end, I want to just share a little bit of a use case for the urban space. So it's basically being able to capture environmental impact and then organize it and organize the verification of it, and then being able to pay the stewards for their efforts. So this is the system. If there's more questions, I'm very happy to answer them. And I wanted to keep it short as promised, and thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Sebastian, and apologies for that misstep in the beginning. And I'm glad that you cleared that up. So thank you again to Sebastian from Greenstand, not-for-profit company working in greening. Now we will invite all the panelists to come, all the speakers to come on as panelists. So do please join us, everybody who's presented. If you would like, as the audience, to drop questions in the chat, the Resilience Academy team will bring those up. I think first, though, what I would like to do is invite Edward. Oh, I was hoping to invite Edward Anderson. Yes, super, Edward. I'm glad that you could make it. Edward is was a lead for Resilience Academy at the World Bank, and we'd asked him to come on and just give us some little comments and to get our discussion starting, and a little bit of a wrap up of the session. So welcome, Edward.
Thank you very much, Alexa, and hello, everybody. Thanks for inviting me to sort of give a reaction to what we've heard today. I just want to sort of maybe try to summarize why are we doing this? I mean, there's a lot of really cool projects, but at the heart of the Resilience Academy is not really a innovation program. It's meant as a demand-driven transformation of the skills base and the service model for cities in Africa. So particularly confronting this rapid, unplanned urbanization challenge, we need to find faster, better, cheaper ways to go digital and to go local. And essentially to not only scale that very, very quickly, but sustain it. So I think what ties a common thread through all of these different examples that you've heard is this desire to not so much be low tech, but to reduce the complexity to the degree that we can really have low cost and open tools, local people and devices, and follow relatively simple workflows to reach services that are as good as their international equivalents, or in many areas surpass it, because there simply is no international equivalent in many new unplanned areas. So the focus is on being more scalable and more sustainable. And I think far from being an innovation program, it's almost like a litmus test for many of our core programs to say, you know, by default, can we push our requirements for urban analytics through this kind of model? Can bachelor's level students in local cities grasp the right methodology? Can they accomplish these data collection campaigns with the tools already in their pocket? And if not, are we not misdesigning the way we do things, the way we digitize, measure, maintain, and analyze? I don't think that we can do everything locally with a cell phone, but I think we can transition a lot of what we do towards using local tools, local people, and open standards. So that's really, I think, the core mission here. And it's very much a matching of supply of these new skills and this ecosystem to the demand on the project side. So I'm very excited when Innocent speaks about how OMDTZ have taken their internship experiences, formed the company, and formalizing career opportunities now based around consumer devices and urban analytical needs in the city. And the more demand-driven we can stay, I think the better for the program. So thank you very much, everybody presenting, and to those of you listening. Thanks, Alexa.
Thank you, Edward. I think that was a great wrap-up. Maybe what we can do is use that to jump off and think for our first question. I'd like to invite Sebastian and Innocent just to react to what Edward said. You know, can students accomplish that data need, collecting that data with the tools that are in their pocket? Is that something that you've seen as possible? And maybe speak a bit more to the quality of data and what you're doing with that. Sebastian and Innocent, can you speak to that?
So from our side, we've really been focusing on keeping our app very, very simple. So we've even developed a very unusual login and authorization process, which basically just requires a telephone number. And just yesterday or something, somebody wrote, yeah, where's my password? And I was like, well, there is no password. It's basically a selfie and a telephone number. So we've already adapted this to really function in the field and in remote places, so that it is very low demand on the complexity. You don't need an email address, etc. So from that side, data input, we're expecting a very low quality of data input, but we have then a strong post-processing, which then adds the data to the data quality. So yeah, in that case, we're really trying to get as much valuable data in, and then curating it to the point where we can really work with it. If it's not already possible. Very often the image itself speaks a lot and tells a lot. That's, yeah, in terms of GPS accuracy, as I've mentioned, this is it's a topic, but it's not a game changer. It is nice to have, let's say, 3 meter, 4 meter accuracy, but it is not super important in most of our use cases, at least. The image itself speaks as well and kind of does another level of ground truthing. So I hope that answers some of the question.
Thank you, Sebastian. Yeah, that's Innocent. Caribou.
So, yeah, thank you. I think it's for us, and I was very happy to hear this from Edward. So we use the term open, like local people, local knowledge, and open, local people, local devices, and open knowledge. And with local people, we mean, students, community members, and others. But with local devices, we usually take, we refer to actually the things that people can have access to. If it's a smartphone, for example, if it's, any kind of tools that people can have easy access on, that's great. And on open knowledge, like I've talked a lot about, open softwares and applications. And with that, I think we are moving through using applications like Open Data Kit, which is very easy to manipulate, because you can even create, survey forms in Kiswahili, for example, which is understandable within students and community members. And then even the training itself that involves the use of those applications is easy, because people just need to download the application and then just be able to have like 30 minutes to familiarize with that. And in terms of data quality, I think we have made it very clear with most of the students and community members we work with, that the most important thing for us is the quality of the data. That's the most, that's the benchmark. And in doing that, we usually have different teams. We have like the team that is collecting data, and we have the team that is reviewing and checking the quality of the data and making sure that it is of high quality. And whenever we find there are errors, we usually send the teams back to the field, or whether we also do participatory mapping, where we invite community members and community leaders to verify the information and validate for us. Those are the kind of stuff that we do. Thanks.
Innocent. And so maybe something as well that I picked up in your presentation is that you said that there's demand from government for the work that you do. So we've seen that for Sebastian, for the guys at Greenstand, that they're using this data, they're finding it helpful. You mentioned the quality of data is very high, even though it's produced locally by students. So I think that answers Edward's question. Yes, you know, we can have students accomplish this data collection and with the tools in their pocket, and you referred to the quality of the data. You know, is this being used by governments? Are they actively using it, and where are they finding it helpful? Where do you see that government demand coming from? Innocent, I think, have we lost Innocent?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I hope I'm back. So with government, I think we've had different you know, engagements with them, coming from you know, working with government bodies like Disaster Management Department and Prime Minister's Office, to TARURA, which is Tanzania Rural and Urban Authority. Tanzania Urban and Rural Roads Authority, TAMISEMI and others. And in most cases, we have different cases. So for DMD, it's within the work that we've done with Roman Korea, where we've done lots of identification of areas that are flood prone and being able to connect that with, you know, let's say the information that comes out of TMA, and then connecting that to organizations like Tanzania Red Cross and DAMAT as well, that are responding to you know, issues like that. So like within the engagement we've done, I think that depends with the nature of the organization. So for, I guess for some of the organizations, I mean departments like let's say municipalities, Kinondoni and Milaa municipalities and others, we were training them how they could access the data. And as an urban planner, you just need a layout to show you a base map of how the settlement is before you even make any decisions on the ground. If it's a neighborhood project, if it's an upgrading project. So we have done these kind of trainings and workshops so that they could be able to use the data. The most important thing is the local leaders, the ward officers and sub-ward officers, and how they could transform, you know, the maps into unactionable, you know, items. So in doing the mapping, we also map, apart from the buildings, roads, and others, we also map, you know, the drains of the areas, and we also map the situation of the ground. If the drain is blocked, if it is not maintained, you know, stuff like that. And I have seen a case in Vingunguti where the one officer was using the map to actually pinpoint the areas and organize monthly cleanups back in 2016. So they were doing that, and that was being done to actually reduce the amount of flooding that was happening in the area. Thank you.
Thank you, Innocent. That's so interesting. Maybe I can bring also Mercy in, and she can maybe just talk to us a little bit more about, you know, we're hearing from Innocent where governments are interested in the data, we're hearing the data quality is good enough. What would you say to universities that would like to join this program, Mercy, or in other countries if we'd like to get the Resilience Academy started? You know, where have you seen traction in your university? Where's UDSM gotten excited about this program? And what uses have you seen in the university and the data research, project management, as you're developing those skills in the students and that data is coming in? How would you speak to that?
Thank you. I hope I heard the question well.
Caribou. Yes.
Hello.
Hello, Mercy. I hope that you heard the question. Would you like me to repeat it?
I said, I hope I heard the question well. You're talking about data collected by students and how I can,
yes,
how the data can be used, or how can others benefit from that?
Yes, how is the data used in the university, and how can others benefit from it? And then also, if you wanted to talk to other universities in Tanzania or outside of Tanzania to start a Resilience Academy program, what advice would you give?
Oh, okay, thank you. I get the question now. Yes, I think we all know that data is a very valuable asset. You can use data to do a lot of things. You can make decisions, you can plan because you have evidence using the data that is being collected by students. But also for other universities, I think Resilience Academy is one of the good places that students can join and learn different skills. I'll give examples of students who undertake the industrial training. We have students from different, at least two different fields from the University of Dar es Salaam, from ICT and also from geography. So these students interact and it's very advantageous, or rather the Resilience Academy platform or initiative that you have students with different skills, and these skills complement each other and make even more sustainable solutions. So you can have an ICT student collecting geospatial data and analyzing it. So they join and team up with these with the geography field counterparts, and they develop very good solutions, or rather sustainable solutions, because you have these geography students using IT skills or IT tools or IT software, and also an IT student using geospatial data, geospatial tools to all design and make solutions. And they usually go to the field together, and they basically complement each other very well. So yes, if I had to comment on other, or rather advise or encourage other universities to join Resilience Academy, is one of the few places I've seen where you have multiple skills practiced by students, learned and practiced by students. Yeah.
Thank you, Mercy. It sounds like you would encourage others to join Resilience Academy and to set their own Resilience Academies up in other countries. And so that's great to hear through in the chat here. Ernest Maua says, data is also used by students to make their research reports, which are part of the degree program. Apologies, I think my internet dropped. Mercy, would you like to take on that question?
Can you please repeat that, because I had nothing from you, I think, on your internet. Or do you mean this question that has been posted on the chat?
Yes, this comment from Edgar, and there's also a question from Patricia. Maybe if you have any comments on those too.
I think Patricia's question is like, is all the data produced by Resilience Academy open, or at least open to the public sector? I think the data is placed in the climate risk database, and yes, is it mainly used for education? Yeah, I'm not really sure whether it's open to the public, but since it's we say the data is open access, then yes, it should be open. We have data policies, not very well developed, but we kind of try to make sure that whatever is collected in the data in the climate risk database is it can be used without any conflict, or it doesn't go against any data policy. Yeah, and I think there's also an answer from Ernest here from SUA that in collaboration with staff, some data are also worthy for publication. We can also can do publications using the data to do some research and publish. Yeah.
Thank you. And I
Was
see
there
that
another question? You said there was another question, but
I think we can invite maybe Nina to also comment on this question of Patricia's on open data and any collaborations with the public sector, Nina, and maybe also Edward, this would be something you would like to comment on top of Mercy's already helpful comments.
Well, perhaps just to say in general that we are, of course, witnessing currently a huge transformation globally towards open data policies, and the idea that data is an engine of the development and decision making. So we are basically, by being proactive in data creation and data sharing, creating those solutions that are hopefully being adopted by others and hopefully being encouraged by the, let's say, public sector actors to actually start sharing their own data. We have seen already in many countries that when this type of engine starts moving on, there's a positive trajectory of development, and you'd rather share your data than hide your data, because then you become part of the community that can actually utilize data, and you get additional publicity to your own data as well. So I guess it's very difficult at the moment to say exactly where we are, but I think the platform that we are creating here, the community of collaboration, is such a powerful tool to make that transformation towards more open data society in the large sense. I think that's more like the strategical thinking that is underlying here. Perhaps Edward, you want to add up something on along this line?
Sure. I mean, I agree with you, Nina, that there's a sort of mindset shift happening with how we think of data, not as a sort of proprietary input to a specific decision or project, but as a public good in itself, and something that if citizens can create data around their neighborhood, their risks, their issues, they should be able to access, interpret, analyze that. So having it being open has many benefits from a production model point of view, and from a sort of democratic access to data point of view. But at the same time, when we talk about fast changing countries and sort of organizational change, it can be quite threatening for institutions to suddenly dive into a world of free data and open data if their model is based on being custodians of the official report and having project financing to create that, right? So by and large, projects like Ramani Huria, and the word Huria in Swahili means free, and Ramani is map, they focus to create data where there is no official data. So it's not really in competition with the old school model, and it has a very clear use case when you can populate a map that is otherwise blank. So I think its immediate use is actually very local. And when we talk about policy, we're talking about ward officers and street leaders and sort of district GIS specialists being able to have an up-to-date building count, population count, drainage plan, that kind of activity. And you find when there's an incident like a COVID pandemic, and we want to know, well, how many communal assets are there in this informal town? You know, we can actually collect the number of water points or toilets or grocery stores through places like OpenStreetMap, and we can add to that very quickly in a way that traditional surveys would struggle to do, even if you could fly in the experts. So I think that the biggest value is in the initial stages in filling those gaps or those blank pages on the map. And as we go up the chain of administrative ranks towards central government, the use of data and policy, I think this approach is very helpful because it's quite a responsive data set, and it's quite a consultative data set. So when we tried to do a flood mitigation program for the city of Dar es Salaam, we had to run a participatory design charrette with dozens of government agencies and many dozens of civil society stakeholders together. And to have a evidence-informed dialogue around what the priorities should be. Is it pollution? Is it environment? Is it transportation? Is it more housing? These are all values that the community has to debate and express. What does the optimal project look like? And you have people with interests pro and against And it becomes very difficult to have these consultations absent of up-to-date real-world data. But if you can present that data and then they can ask questions of the data, say, well, what happens if we have a really big flood and we've raised the bridge? Or what happens if we've cleaned up all the trash with the flood situation? How many people will be flooded? And how many of these houses would be willing to relocate? These are all evidence-based questions we can begin to answer. We can use participatory mapping methods to inform that debate almost in real time. I mean, we had these charrette meetings, these town halls once a month, and in between, questions that were posed by the stakeholders were then farmed out to places like the Romani Huria community to go and ask households, to go and map drains, to go and get cross sections of rivers so we could run the model on a new scenario. So I think that that actionability, that quick turnaround, and the fact that it comes from community members are all attributes of the process that are really helpful in informing policy.
Thank you, Edward, and everybody. Patricia, I hope that answers your question. And Caribou, to other members of the audience to put questions in the chat, or to just signal that you would like to speak by putting your video on, and we'll allow you to speak.
Hi,
Patricia,
everyone.
would you like to add some comments? You're welcome.
Yeah, I mean, maybe quicker than just try to write in English. So I was just wondering, the question was more related to, yes, thank you. I mean, that answered the question. It was, first of all, very good to see that the technical part is done in open source type of data, because it's something that many universities forget, that once the students are out there, they wouldn't have the softwares that normally they are trained to. So they will need to learn Python scripts or open source data in order to deal with the spatial data that now is available. But I was just thinking maybe this is a good partnership. I don't know for how many years this partnership have been going through, but I thought this is a good starting point to try to sort of join a little bit what is the research or the type of projects or reports that we produce in consultancy. That is sort of what I tend to work with. But we always worry, or I always worry, that actually that will stay in a report and it's not going to sort of collate into what the municipality or the local authority actually needs to read and actually produce policies. So maybe this partnership between universities is actually a good starting point to try to actually get from your research paper into actual policies. And I think that link between public sector and university could actually quite bring these both together. So if the municipality or local authority has a specific question to answer, that can be answered by the local university, that's something great that could be maybe sort of work in with a little bit more link between those two things. And I already forgot what I was going to ask. But anyway, I think it's great that sort of these sort of partnerships and try to get more know how to analyze data, because now there's so much data, so much spatial data, but actually I think Python scripts is something that not many people has, and that's where all the this gap between actually using the free data that out there and how do you put it into a report or a policy, I think this is a good starting link. So yeah, great. And
thank you, Patricia. Maybe Nina and Mercy, this was a discussion a lot as well about universities collaborating and how do you get that data out of the universities and into the hands of policymakers so that it's really actionable and usable, and how do you connect that also with the commercial side? Is that something that either of you would like to speak to?
Well, perhaps just to start by saying that the data that Resilience Academy showcases largely is not primarily research data. I mean, it's mainly done in order to narrow the gap of data, like crucial data missing for management of urbanization challenges. So I would not say that it's primarily driven by research question, but because many of the challenges that are there in the cities are such that they are complex problems, we need to then also make sure that the data we generate and the way the data is generated, it's also then linking into research and innovation, because many of the problems we haven't been able to study without data that is able, let's say, to give us those evidence-based, let's say, like access to evidence-based data. So what I'm trying to here mumble is that because we are in front of the challenge from the research side that we do not have knowledge to do or data to do certain type of research, and we are dealing with a very complex urbanization problem where everything is interlinked. So by research, we are able to, at the same time, use and collect data that is simultaneously meaningful for the decision making. And this is, I mean, I think it's like an iterative process. What we are witnessing here is that I would not say that the research is the agent here, but the research is something that brings in deeper and deeper understanding of the problem base we are dealing with. The more we have data, the more we can build complex solutions on top of the data compiling. And I think that a lot of Resilience Academy data production has been to get the grasp the basics first, to have the whole Dar es Salaam on the map, which is physical infrastructure and the key elements that determine its geographical functioning as a city, which is rapidly growing. And the next level is, of course, to add the dimensions. And I must say that even though we focus a lot on local data production processes, in more and more we are talking about global data coming from Earth observation and other sources that is then linked with the local knowledge and data validation and verification. And this type of global data set access is, of course, turning these big cities and their research and problem solving issues into much more complex levels, because we can also utilize more or less up-to-date data of the city's functions via Earth observation techniques, just as a very powerful example. I don't know if it makes any sense what I said, but I'm trying to mumble that it's a multidimensional issue we talk about here. Research interlinked with decision making and education integrated. And it's very much in the heart of the university's future. We have to be able to train generation of youth which is skilled with their understanding of the problems. It's not enough just to know the data and the tools. They have to know the problems, and they need to be able to analyze the problems in a way that they can start solving them. And then we need, of course, data and technology and actors who are then mobilizing the knowledge into real use in the society. And everything is, of course, need driven in this kind of model. It's not that we do research just because of research, but we do research with an impact and education with an impact that makes the change. I don't know if Mercy wants to add up something more into this, perhaps.
Yeah, I think, Nina, you have explained in a very good way that it's a complex thing, and it's like an interaction between education systems, policy systems, and research. So yeah, I think I wouldn't want to dilute that anymore. I think what Nina explained it reflects what I was also thinking, and yeah, it's kind of a complex thing at the moment. But I was also thinking in a different way that, say, if we saturate this level, or we saturate this Resilience Academy model, that we collect data and then we use data for research and we understand our environment better, or all those challenges better. Now it's maybe another step now is to think of how we can use the data now, after research, of course, to inform now, to inform these decision makers. If we can change policies, or if we can create different policy briefs, that would be even better.
Thank you, Mercy. That's super. Before I close off this topic of policymakers and data in sort of this multi-dimensional program, I just wanted to check if anybody else on the panel would like to make some last comments. I'll just give a second here. Okay. Well, thank you everyone for those inputs, and Patricia for that really interesting question. We've had another question from the audience asking if Resilience Academy is in other African countries or only in Tanzania. And I think this is a question that's quite close to Edward's heart, and Nina as well, I know, has thought a lot about this. So yeah, maybe you guys can tell us a little bit about the future or the vision for Resilience Academy. I know that, well, not exactly the same as Resilience Academy, there's been some activities as well, I think, in Freetown, also with some tree mapping, and this model definitely is scalable. So maybe you'd like to talk to us a little bit about the vision for Resilience Academy going forward.
You want me to go first? Thanks, Alexa. Well, I think one of the questions, I think maybe from Patricia, was, how long has this been running and how has it developed? Resilience Academy has evolved from, on top of many long-established partnerships, and Nina has been working, in Tanzania with the Tanzanian universities that have been working together on similar programs for a very long time. I mean, going back more than a decade. And Ramani Huria, if you like, was a precursor. So it's been a very iterative model. And we think we're at the stage now where we have enough content to share that will appeal and be useful to other universities in other countries, that we'd like to try and do that. So I speak about the 8 online open modules, the GeoNode data sets, and various tools and applications and visualizers that accompany that. So if we think of the data and the software and the learning content all as digital public goods, it would be great if we could make that available to any university in Africa that's trying to really deploy these skills to real world problems. But we want to roll it out in a way that's demand driven. So, from a World Bank point of view, we're very much looking at the demand from cities to upgrade and digitize as quickly as possible. So those are priority areas where we know there's going to be a lot of investment in formalizing cities, in improving drainage, in reducing flood risk, that is going to be very data heavy. Can we transition a portion of that demand to this local open model? It will not replace entirely the large consultancies that typically do these studies and reports. I just hope that their role evolves to be one of knowledge transfer managers and quality assurance rather than end-to-end data collection all the way to final reporting, so that we can create these local ecosystems. So my vision, and it's just a vision right now, we don't have a formal program, is that there will be country nodes where there are vibrant country-specific programs based on the demand from those cities and their specific characteristics and needs, that we could then link together with a regional platform that convenes the knowledge, the lessons learned, the public goods, shares the applications between countries. And the more the world uses AI applications from global satellite feeds, Nina mentioned that this needs to be linked to local knowledge. How do you ground truth it? How do you validate it? How do you really curate artificial intelligence image classifiers to be suited to African trees, buildings, road conditions? It needs a lot of local data sets. So that knowledge, I think, is something that Resilience Academy can be a platform to help these cities access that kind of know-how.
Thank you, Edward. Nina, would you also like to add to that, or do you feel that that's been covered by Edward?
Well, just shortly add, I think the scalability is really embedded into the structures that we are building here in a way that the knowledge transfer of the universities in education and research in a digitalizing world is done exactly this way, that you've got a low threshold to access resources, both data and learning, which then makes it clever, of course, that when we build these assets for the Tanzanian universities in this Resilience Academy phase, they can equally be utilized by anyone. But using resources and data is always contextualized in the local space. So when you go to another country with a different data needs, with a different institutions, different modalities of cooperation, you need the engagement of the local institutions. So what, of course, in this process of the dream of Resilience Academy, scaling from outside Tanzania, it requires, of course, the dedicated universities locally and their partners to do it. And I'm pretty sure that our Tanzanian universities are quite ready to share their experience in stories and do that required training and capacity development that other countries may need in this transition of making this happen in another country or another region. Of course, we have similar urbanization problems everywhere in Africa, for example, but like I said, the local setups are unique and the cities are unique constructions of problems, despite their universal challenges. And therefore, I think the beauty of the Resilience Academy is really the localization of the global knowledge space, and that I like a lot. And I hope we get a chance to do that jointly with other universities as well.
Thank you, Nina. I think that's a really nice segue. When you speak about skills, and you know, how do the universities and the students and the people, you know, in Tanzania and the students at University of Dar es Salaam, how do they feel? And I'd like to ask again Stephen if he'd put his video on and join us, and Innocent as well, and Mercy. And I wonder if you could speak a little bit to this agenda of skills. So, you know, what I saw mentioned by Mercy, by Stan, by Innocent, by Stephen, was all that there's a lot of leadership skills that are being developed. And it sounds like along with the skills to survey and use data, which, you know, is hugely helpful to students and governments and organizations like Green Stand, students themselves are benefiting from better access to jobs and, you know, and beyond the data skills, sort of these leadership skills. So, Stephen Kutuku, if you could join us, and Innocent, and talk to us a little bit about, you know, Stephen, how did you find the program? Did you feel more confident, more ready to lead in this area of data than before joining the program? And Innocent, you know, when you speak about leadership skills, you know, really how do you see students developing and what do you see them going on to do? You yourselves have set up OMDPZ, and I'm sure you've seen other fellows continue to do very exciting things in this space. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, sure. I hope you guys can hear me again. So speaking to that, I think, like I said, like the most impact that I've seen from students is, you know, the imparted leadership skills that they have. And just to give a little bit of a story. So we now have people that are now working within universities, and they are now university lecturers. They were part of, you know, they were the core staff at OMDPZ. And I think with that, they have gained lots of confidence, apart from the skills that they have gained. I think they have gained lots of skills, confidence, to be able to, you know, let's say stand in front of the people and be able to initiate if it's a project, if it's a meeting, or if it's something. I've seen people that are now, you know, heading some urban planning departments. And to be honest with you, if I'm looking at myself back in 2014, 2015, I wasn't even able to, you know, confidently talk to, you know, to people and, you know, present or something. So I've seen, like, for myself, I've seen very huge steps in terms of my career. And for me, becoming from an urban planning profession and then being able to lead a team of 40 people, you know, interacting with donors, funders, you know, these kind of people, I think it has always been, because of this chance that I had during the industrial training. And throughout the process, I realized that I was becoming better in the things that I was doing in management, managing the teams, being able to interact with these kind of different people, and yeah.
Thank you, Innocent. Stephen, are you able to join us and speak a little bit about the skills that you felt that you have learned taking part in so many different activities at Resilience Academy?
Yes. Okay, before I joined the Resilience Academy, I joined first by visualization challenge. It was my first appearance. So after that, we gathered together with my fellow student, and we established a non-governmental organization called the IBIG, I Believe in Green, which is located at Sokoine University of Agriculture. So after establishment of that organization, we are in Department of Research, where we integrate several data, others which are accessible, located in climate risk database, to perform different researches as the part of our NGO activities. So I found myself good because I was I'm good by using different software, in integrating several data to do several activities. It's all about the experience and the lot of skills I gained from Resilience Academy. So I can say so, I think.
All right, thank you, Stephen. And maybe you can tell us quickly, what do you hope to go on to? What do you see in your future? We've heard that graduates from Resilience Academy have gone on to start organizations, lead teams of 40, be urban planners, be lecturers. So we see that the future is bright for students who take part in Resilience Academy and build their skills base. What do you hope to go and do?
For me, I think the future is bright because me and my fellow students who participated in Resilience Academy, we had our visualization. We performed it not for competition only, but for future research, and sometimes to apply for funds to develop it. That will be like a source of income or source of like a job and whatever. So it's an ongoing process. We're learning it, we're still working on it, and we take it to our lectures, and they comment it's good. So we are working on it and several other programs concerning about GIS. That's all experience we got from Resilience Academy in the part of studying, where we studied the course called the Geographic Information System and Remote Sensing in our university.
Well, thank you, Stephen. Maybe we'll see a new business come from the data visualization guys on GIS. So we have just we just have a few minutes left, just about 5 minutes left on the session. I see Bobby Russell from Daltaris has said that he has to leave, but he thanks all the contributors for an interesting session and the positive stories. Is there anybody else in the audience who would like to make any final comments or questions before we look to close the session and I give everybody a final wrap-up remark? All right then, if there's no other questions or comments from the audience, I'm going to start then with the presenters, just your last greetings to the audience and the last thing you'd like to say. And I'm going to start with our colleagues from Greenstand, with Sebastian from Greenstand, and work sort of backwards up the speaking list. So Sebastian, do you have any sort of final greetings or points that you'd like to drive home for the session?
Well, apart from the fact that I really would like to connect more to all the stakeholders here and work on more open data sets and get our data more into that realm. Yeah, it's definitely very exciting to see the different approaches, because we come really from this ground up, and we believe in the hustle. I mean, this is where our model kind of is going towards, is that we're creating a a real economy around these data points and around participating in global restoration. And that's our philosophy of putting these the ends of the markets together. So the plant on one side and the donor. So what's coming in between is obviously needs a lot of monitoring, a lot of evaluation, and it needs a lot of input from science and organizations and universities. So we're always happy to invite to the table as well as we do our outreach and try and work together with the organization. So very happy to present here and be in this community. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Sebastian, and thank you for your important contributions and participation in the Resilience Academy. Right, I'll give Innocent and then Stephen last final wrap-up words.
Yeah, so I'd like to say thank you for an invite for us to come and present here. Thank you to Resilience Academy for organizing this, but also for all the work that we've done together in partnership and providing skills to students, giving them at least that confidence and then skills to actually be marketable. And thank you, Alexa, for moderating the panel. I think I enjoyed all of that and all the questions that came out of everyone. Yeah, happy to connect. I think I shared my contacts, so I'm happy to connect just in case someone is interested. But I'm also happy to also keep joining this kind of calls. Thank you.
Thank you, Innocent. Stephen, final goodbye and words from you.
Okay, I would like to say thank you for Resilience Academy for running their programs. And in this presentation, I would like to take this chance to introduce myself and my fellow students who participated in this academic challenge and in all the training that we are available for any work that is in front of us or an organization that will be interested to work with us, because we are the graduate, so we can do anything concerning about GIS, geospatial skills, and all environmental issues concerned. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen. All right, Dr. Mercy Mbise and then Nina Kaiko. Dr. Mbise, would you like to say a final word? Okay, I'll give over to Nina. I think we maybe have lost Mercy. Nina, final words and goodbyes from you.
I wanted to say really genuinely thanks to everybody for a great cooperation that we have had over this year. So I mean, it has been absolutely fantastic, and I think one of the key issues in the Resilience Academy is really the partnerships that we've created. They are the key for the sustainability and success. And I can't help of saying that usually when you think of holistically the issue of Resilience Academy, the whole that we have created as a partnership, through the partnership, is always more than the sum of its parts. And therefore, this really could not be where we are without a well-functioning cooperation. So that is what I'm looking forward for the future as well. So thank you for all.
Thank you so much, Nina. Edward, do you want to say a final goodbye or final word? No.
Thanks, Alexa. I mean, I already gave my summary of thoughts, but maybe what I missed out, and to comment on Nina's partnerships, this is also open for companies who are listening here. I mean, I'm grateful that Deltares and JBA and others have participated. And, you know, I really like to sort of put out a plea to say, please, 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 if you are a development consultancy company, firm, in your proposals, in your sort of future work plans, think about how you could incorporate co-creation methods with local universities. How could you engage large numbers of local people with local devices into your consultancy business? And we're open for discussions to collaborate and make that happen, because I think that's really the model we're going for, is to create an ecosystem that is easier and more efficient to work with to produce better data, more actionable data, and more skills in the process. So definitely a big role for the private sector as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Edward. And who should, if our colleagues on the from the private sector are listening to this and they already are super excited about this, who should they be emailing right now to signal their interest and to sign up to take part?
It depends on what you want to do. People can get in touch with me if they like, if it's sort of an abstract discussion about how to prepare. But in reality, if they're preparing a proposal for a World Bank project, and there is an option to work and co-create with a local university, you know, reach out to the existing universities in resilienceacademy.ac.tz. You'll find partners there. You'll find the skill sets. Reach out through Turku. If you're in another country, do talk to the World Bank team leads there. And, you know, just think about how does citizen science, how does community data fit into your work? I think it'll strengthen the proposal even if they don't run it by us in advance. But particularly in East Africa, I'm very keen to help. So they can reach out to me as well. Yeah, and it doesn't have to be World Bank projects. I think this is good practice for any development programs.
Super. And Edward, do you want to drop your email address in the chat there so that people can be able to get hold of you? Because we do want to make sure that we have some strong private sector collaboration and that we all continue to collaborate, because this is really a project about collaborating. And as Nina says, that's more than the sum of the parts. Is we do well when we work together. Super. Well, thank you very much, everybody. I'm going to close off that session then and say goodbye and thank you. Yves, I says thank you for a great session. Thank you, Yves. And hoping to see Resilience Academy in West Africa, us too, Yves. We hope that we can find partners and look for financing and scaling this approach up. Sebastian's also dropped his contacts from Greenstand in the chat. Thank you so much, Sebastian, and do reach out to him and understand their experience. All right, well, thank you so much, everybody. Have a super great day, and thank you and goodbye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you, Alexa.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Alexa. Bye.